Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. So life is busy and, it can get chaotic and it can feel so out of balance. So today, I want to share with you ways to automate your life, aka simplify things. So with me being an entrepreneur, a mom, and, I want to be friends with people and, have a life. I want to do things for me, right? How do I do it? Well, sometimes I lose sight of things and I get off balanced. And other times, I feel like life is flowing. There's other things that I do to help me really kind of just flow with life. So today I want to share with you a few things that help me when things are hectic and things feel out of balance. Now, there's definitely things you can do from a personal perspective to take care of you, but I'm talking about little tweaks throughout your day and life to make things easier, also known as automation. So I have family that are 3 hours in a 3-hour time difference, and they are ahead of me. They are morning people. And I'm not. I'm like an owl, a night owl. So it makes life difficult sometimes connecting with them. So when my day is wrapping up, it's usually, 8 or 9. The kids are asleep. I can breathe. I can go through my messages. But then it is midnight there. Well, most people are asleep at midnight, at least in my family. So what I've realized is that there's text messaging and you can schedule it. So I have, over the past while, started scheduling even text messages. So I used to do it with email. I would set up a schedule so it would go out in the morning. So I would still schedule it at a time that I would be awake. So 8 o'clock in the morning because my kids are up and getting ready for school. So I set it there, but then that way it's not too late in their day. And then I was like, you know what? I can do this with text messages too. This might seem not great to some people, but what I realized is it better for me to text? I have this text ready and go out when I'm thinking about it, or to not text them at all? Because let's rewind a little bit before I figure out this scheduling thing. I would read a text and be like, okay, I'll get back to them. And then I'll sit down at 8, 9 o'clock at night and realize, oh, it's 11 or 12 o'clock there. And go, oh, I guess I'll do it tomorrow. And then another day would go by and another day and another day. And all of a sudden I'm texting them a week later. And I realized, well, that's not cool. And then it would just hang over me all day, every day for a week. Oh, I have to get back to this person. I have to get back to this person. And it was mind space that I was using up for other things. When we're busy and we're trying to multitask, we get stressed out, or at least I do. I can't speak for you, but I get super stressed when I have a million things on the go. So what I like to do is write down the things I need to do in order. There's different ways you can do this. I write it down. Actually, I usually send myself an email and then I look at the list the next day. I've learned to only put a few things on a list, especially if it's work, no more than 3 things. And family, I'm only going to get 1 or 2 things done, not to over jam pack things in. And the other one is you can have Post-its, and each piece of paper is, an item that you want to do that day. So you only focus on one task at a time if you feel overwhelmed. But it's just having these, because you don't want your head full of to-do lists, right? I'm big believer on writing it down and then forgetting about it till you're on to the next thing and you can look at it. Because if we have all these things going on in our head, oh my goodness, the stress. I can feel my stress just thinking about having too much in my brain. So I've discovered some more ways to get rid of some of my thoughts that I don't have to worry about during the day. So one is I have a watch. It's kind of it's a fitness watch. It's a no-name brand. But it has a brand, but you know what I mean? It's not a high. Anyways, it's a watch and it does things. So I have it go and set alarms for me now. So it lets me know 10 minutes before I should be eating lunch. Because here's the truth. I get working and I'm like, oh, it's noon. Maybe I should eat soon. Oh, just after this. Maybe I should eat soon. Oh, maybe after this. And then all of a sudden it's 2:00 and then 2:30 and the kids are coming in the door and I need to eat some food. And it's like, because I'm not hungry until I stop. So my watch is a reminder like, oh, go get yourself some food. So I set it to go off 10 minutes before 12:00. Does it always work? No, but it reminds me, hey, let's pivot and get some food. And usually shortly after, I will go get myself some food. The other one is 10 minutes before I want to stop working. So it gives me that like, oh, right, wrap it up now. Does it always work? No, but it gets me there more than not. So it's these little things where I don't have to think about things as much. And I know that might sound crazy and weird and, but it works. In a day and age where things are constantly in our faces. There was a time where people couldn't get a hold of you 24/7. You were outside and you could just enjoy outside without having somebody call you or text you or email you. And people would, if you didn't answer, okay, they're not home. Now it's like they have voicemail, you do all these things and people expect you to get back to them. That is stressful. So, and, we just have so much going on in our days. So I'm just sharing with you some simple ways to kind of release some of that pressure. Because I don't know about you, but I don't love being available 24/7. I unplug a lot because if I'm constantly switching gears, I can't focus and be creative anymore. So there are days that I just focus on being creative. There are other days that I will do more office task jobs. But like if I'm switching back and forth, it's exhausting. And I actually I can't remember where I read this now, but something about it's almost like 20 minutes or over 20 minutes to get back into something. So say you're working on something and you get a phone call. It now takes you 20 more minutes to get back into that thing, roughly. I can't remember the exact number, but it was roughly that much. I was like, oh my goodness, this makes so much sense. How I like to laser focus my days, how my calendar, how I have this. So can you imagine in life, I have kids that pull me in different directions all the time. Now, thankfully, they're old enough that I can have a conversation with them and go, look, I need to focus for this next half hour or whatever it may be. Or like I'll first play with them, spend time with them and be like, okay, now you guys got some free time to play. I'm going to focus on supper or whatever because I don't want to have a million things going on all at once. I'm very open and honest with my kids because, life can be stressful and I want them to know that, okay, I can't be running here and there and do this thing all at the same time. So it's taking those moments to be with my children and then be like, okay, now you guys go do your thing and I'll go do my thing. And it's setting those boundaries with ourselves and with our family. But another one, like if you're kind of like, oh, Jody, what are you talking about? I want to bring it back to the one thing in my life that literally changed my world. And this might seem silly, but it's for reals. So when we got our vehicle, when our son was born, we needed a bigger one where like our car could not fit our stroller. We're like, oh my goodness, the trunk, like we're trying to shove it in. We're like, okay, well, we're getting a second child. Let's get a slightly bigger car. So it's like a mini SUV. It's not a big one or anything. It's just, but anyways, so we got that. And in that time, it came with a fob. And I didn't realize how amazing these fobs were until I owned one. Because at first I'm like, what? I just pressed a button to start a car? What is going on? I had a car growing up where I had to roll down the windows, okay? So I might have just dated myself, and that's totally cool. I'm cool with that. Anyway, so I absolutely love it because I keep my keys in my purse or in my backpack, whatever I have on me at the time. If I go hiking and things, then it's in a backpack. But anyways, what it's in does not matter. But it's like I just press a button and it opens. Then I lock it when I get out. I don't have to worry where the keys are. They're on my being. Yay. I don't have to go digging for them. I don't have to accidentally leave them in the car. And thankfully now you can't lock your keys in the car because it's too smart for that. It's like, no, you can't lock the car because your keys are in there. But having them, like, I don't have to have them. Now, it is a little bit of a bummer if somebody locks me out at home and I need to find my keys. Then I'm like, okay, here we go. I got to go find my keys in my purse. But I got a pocket for that and I know exactly where they are. But the thing is, like, it came in really handy because I had 2 little ones, a diaper bag, baby, toddler, and it was just so good to have because your hands are already full enough. So all these automations, these little techniques to simplify your life that's what it is. It's having a fob for your life. So automating things, like keeping things simple in your life that you don't have to think about anymore. I think back to my childhood and how things were so different. And not in a bad, like, I'm not comparing in a way of, oh, I wish it was like that, or I wish it was, none of that. But just looking at it and being like, there was a lot less distractions back then, a lot less technology. I have a love-hate relationship with technology. I love it because I can live where I want and help lots of people all over the world. My husband also works from home. He's a mobile worker. So I love that. What I don't love is feeling tied down to it all the time. However, what I've learned is use technology. Like, we have all these cool advances with technology. So why not use them? So that's, scheduling out emails. Like, Gmail does that. You just click a button, like, it has a schedule, like set it to go out. Text messages, like, all these things can happen. So if you're like me, where you're sitting down and it's like not a good time to text somebody, because sometimes, like, I think I had it before when my mom, like, was not happy that I texted her in the middle of the night because she left her phone on. And it's like, well, sorry. But, and then I'm like, well, I guess I'm not texting anytime now. Like, I'll leave it till a different window. But if you have it where you can't text somebody at a certain time and then you forget, it's a perfect thing. Like, still text them and schedule it to go out when it's more convenient for that person to receive a text message. But this is just like me saying, like, technology for this way, but it can be using alarms or calendars. I really love my watch because I don't love being jarred by noise. I love music. I love listening to things. So if it's music and it's a song that I love, like, my alarm is music. It's lined up to play country music in the morning. Like, I just, feel good vibes kind of thing. And I just don't love the beeping. I don't love the all that kind of thing. So I love that my watch vibrates on those times. And that's why I use my watch as a reminder. But if you don't have that, you can turn on different things on your phone. Online calendars are great for planning, so you don't have to keep everything in your head. And then what I like to do is like a mind dump of like things that I want to do in like the day or the week. Just like put it down and then figure out who's going to do what, when are we going to do it, and things like that. But like, just so it's not so much in my head. Just like I want to go do some spring cleaning this spring, go through my clothes and do things that I haven't done in a while. But at the same time, like, then I go, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed. So it's like putting it down so then I don't have to think about it. I love sticky notes and Post-its and things. I'll put the little notes in my calendar to remind me, like, oh, this is something I like to do. But I really, really believe it's so good to get it out of your mind and your body so you can open up more space to be present with your loved ones, with yourself. So it's just really good to just use technology to your advantage these days. I even have it where I schedule my social media posts. I put a lot of thought into my social media, and that's going to be a whole different conversation for a different day. I want to share some ins and outs of social media and things like that. So I'll keep that for another day. But technology, is frustrating as it can be sometimes to feel like you're always on and always available. It's finding those little pockets of ways to use technology to your advantage. And if you're old school like me, that's totally cool too. But it's finding those little tweaks that work for you. I'm totally old school. I love paper. I have a calendar that is paper, but I also use my computer with my calendar. So then if I'm not in my office, I can actually look on my phone. But there again, we're completely tied to our life 24/7. The other thing I use, and actually I want to talk about this before I almost forgot, is I have a wellness app on my phone. It is the other thing that I use. And I think I've mentioned this before, so I won't go too crazy into it, but I set a focus time. I focus, so I have it where I have it, you can change it up too all the time, but you can choose what apps you want to not have available to you, and you get to pick the time. So it used to be for me 8:30 in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I realized that what I had it set at wasn't working for me. Like it was, and then it wasn't. So sometimes our life changes. And I only had it on from Monday to Friday. And then I realized, okay, I'm on my phone too much, checking things, and I'd like to stop. So I actually was going to turn my phone off for a week and realized that's really hard to do. I have all these things on my phone that's tied to everything. That was a really eye-opening moment too, where I'm like, oh my goodness. There was actually a moment in my life where I just had this thing where I learned something on a Saturday before having lunch. And I was like, oh, I was not prepared for it. And so that day I decided to turn my phone off for the weekend. And it was a real eye-opening moment because every time I'm like, oh, let me just grab my phone and check this, or let me do this. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I had it, it wasn't beside me. It was turned off and in my nightstand. So I wasn't going to go get it easily. Anyways, eye-opening moment. I think I grabbed it 5 or 6 times going like, wow, I use this thing all the time. There are these mini computers attached to us. You can do anything on them. Anything. I can use Canva. I can create my art. And I'll be sharing more about that on my social media thing where I'm literally was working at 10, 11 at night on my phone. Anyway, so it can be not good. Technology can be really great until it's not, right? We got to set boundaries. So with the focus, the well-being app, and I put it on focus mode, I actually extended it till the time where I knew I'd be sitting down at the evening. So I used to have it where my text messages wouldn't come through because I wanted a small window of time where I was working not to come through. But then I realized, okay, I need to get a hold of people and people need to get a hold of me. So it just changed over the time. It also has a nighttime mode. So it goes black and white at my bedtime. So not even my bedtime, but it goes into bedtime mode an hour and a half before I want to be in bed. So it reminds me oh, let's not be on my phone. Let's not be working. Let's not do things. Let's take a break. Now, do I always listen to it? No. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I just sat down. And so I'll turn it off for a half an hour and check things. But same with focus mode. You can actually take a break. So it's, I think it's 5, 15 and a half an hour breaks. And so every so often I'm like, okay, is there anything from the school or things like that? But it's using technology to your advantage and to automate things where you can and to use other things. So if you find that your phone, I actually have my phone on silent because all the dinging and notifications drove me up a wall. And in fact, actually now since I've had my new phone, I have actually said no notifications to anything. Nothing comes up. Other than weather, I think, because if there's, something coming up the pipe, I kind of want to know about it. But other than that, most things, I said, no, I don't want notifications. So it's just being mindful of your space and how, stressed out you are. Like I said, I'll be talking about social media and there's some stressors right there for me. Completely honest there. The thing is, it's being mindful of how you're feeling and then using technology to help you out. It doesn't have to be this evil thing or this in your face kind of thing all the time. There's some really beautiful things that can help you. I hope this has helped. Remember, simplify your life. And if you have too big of a to-do list, simplify that too. I actually have a Simplify Your Life activity guide on my website that's completely free. So if this has kind of resonated with you, and maybe not so much the technical side, because in that book I don't share anything about technology helping you. It's just in general small steps you can take to simplify your life. These technology tips are more new to my own world. Like some of the things I've been using for about a year or so, but I've put this guide together before that. And it has beautiful little steps that you can take to simplify your life when things, get overwhelming or before they do. Because let's be honest, if we don't slow down at sometimes, it leads to burnout and overwhelm. So this guide is to help you to prevent burnout and overwhelm. So again, so if you feel overworked, out of balance, or just like things are just too much, please grab that free guide. And like I said, it doesn't have the tech stuff in it, but you learned about that here. So just the other areas of your life that you can simplify as well. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And I'm just so happy that you're here. If you find this helpful, please share the love, share the podcast, subscribe, and thank you again for being here. Take care and have a beautiful day. Bye for now.